Major party voter registration is slipping, and independence and third party voter registration is rising. Tyrone Bowman Live, let's talk about it tonight. According to NBC News, the share of registered voters unaffiliated with either major party has grown nearly 9% points since the year 2000. The number of registered independents and third party members is growing as voters are breaking from the two party system at increasing rates, according to an NBC News analysis of voter registration data. As of 2005, 32% of registered voters across the dozens of states and territories with reported data chose not to affiliate with either the Democratic or Republican parties, up from 23% in 2000. The partisan affiliation data compiled by Ballotpedia is available for the 33 states, territories, and districts that publish registration data by voter party affiliation. But the trend is also reflected in broader national exit polls. The 2024 election polls showed that for the first time, self identified independents, which is me, outnumbered Democrats and were equal with Republicans. Mary Ann Marsh, a political analyst in Massachusetts, said independent and third party registrations are growing in number because of dissatisfaction with the major parties. Quote, I think people are just disappointed in politics and disappointed in party politics. And I think we're seeing it now. Marsh said, pointing to June's nationwide No Kings protest as a sign that people can organize without a major party. People are taking matters into their own hands, end quote. The analysis shows the increase in the share of independents has come at the cost of the Democratic Party. Except during former President Barack Obama's 2008 election, the share of registered voters made up by registered Democrats has declined every year since 2000 across the jurisdictions with data. The decline has accelerated in recent years as the party's share of the registered voters in jurisdictions with available data fell 1.2 percentage points from 2024 to 2025. Among the largest one-year decreases since 1998, Republican voter share has also declined overall, although it has increased since 2021. Independents are growing more diverse as a voting bloc, both ideologically and demographically. About 56% of independents describe themselves as moderate rather than conservative or liberal. In 2024, up from 50% in 2012. According to an analysis of polls commissioned for NBC News by the bipartisan polling firms Public Opinion Strategies and Hart Research Associates, and 34% of independents were people of color, meaning black people, double the share from 2012. The two-party system still dominates in the ballot box as most voters still consistently vote for candidates from one party. In the 2024 presidential election, independents broke 49% for Vice President Kamala Harris and 46% for Donald Trump. In North Carolina, the share of registered independents and third-party members has more than doubled since the turn of the century. So why is this important? Because people are tired. They're tired of the same old white men running for office. They're tired. Let's just put it out there and tell it the way it is. You see nothing but old, white, racist men on both sides. Don't think that there's not racism in the Democratic Party, because there is. They're tired of it. People want a change. They want to see young people. They want fresh ideas. They want new ideas. And more importantly, this is the biggest concern with everybody. Can they pay their bills? That's the number one concern. Can people make enough money to pay their bills? Minimum wage just is not cutting it. People are working 1, 2, and 3 jobs. They are exhausted. People are tired. They have no time for activities, no time to take care of their family, no time to come to school functions. And those who are in the upper class, the privileged class, those who are quote unquote millionaires and billionaires, they wonder how come the rest of the country just doesn't get it. Well, they don't get it because they don't live your lifestyle. They don't get it because you don't understand them. That's what they don't get. They don't get it because individuals just want to be able to take care of their families. In North Carolina, the share of registered independents and third party members has more than doubled since the turn of the century. The rise of the unaffiliated voter has been one of the major themes of American politics and North Carolina politics, said Michael Blitzer, a politics and history professor at Catawba College in North Carolina. The children of polarized politics that have known nothing but the two parties at loggerheads are probably making a pretty profound statement by saying we're not going to register with either party, quote, end quote. This growth in share of independents and third party voters isn't limited to moderate states. The share of people unaffiliated with Democrats or Republicans in West Virginia, which Trump won by 41 points last year, has more than tripled since 2000. Sam Workman, a political science professor at West Virginia University, and the state's primary rules, which allow independents to vote in party primaries, give voters a chance to cast a meaningful vote for the Republican candidate likeliest to be elected. However, beginning in 2026, West Virginia Republican primaries will be registered to registered Republicans. The decline in partisan registration puts parties in a difficult spot, said Christopher Cooper, a professor of political science and political affairs at Western Carolina University in North Carolina. If younger voters hold partisan affiliation, the parties will eventually have a hard time fielding candidates. Quote, the parties need to do something more than just win the next election. They need to build a structure for the future. How about this? I'm not going to read the rest of his statement because it's stupid. How about this? How about if each party gets to the point where they get rid of the teleprompters, get rid of the speech writers, get rid of the cliche and the catchphrases, and just speak from the heart. Deal with everyday people who have everyday problems. That's what people need. People want to know that somebody understands them. You know what most young men and women say about their parents? They just don't understand me because they don't listen. That's what young people say about their parents. They just don't listen. Politicians just don't listen. They hear what they want to hear. They do what they want to do. They act like they put themselves there when it was the voters, the constituents, that put them where they are. Let me ask you a question. Why do politicians get a feeding allowance for breakfast and for lunch of over $100? That's like $200 a day. Times that by 5. And young children can't even get food vouchers to get breakfast in school because they just don't have enough money. The parents. Y'all think it's a joke out here until it comes knocking at your door. When stuff comes knocking at your door, look at what's going on with immigration. White farmers are complaining that they can't get people to come to work on their farms. Some of them are burning their crops. Others are saying, we didn't think it was going to be like this when we voted for Trump. They're not coming because of everything that's going on. People don't feel safe to show up for work anymore. They're not coming because of everything that is happening in this nation. People are not showing up for work. The construction industry is facing a lot of problems. The housing industry is facing problems. The baking industry is facing problems. And you know, after a while, Fresh Grocer and Trader Joe's and all these stores are going to be facing a lot of problems. That's why individuals are switching from being a Republican or a Democrat and they're becoming independents, like myself. Never surrender, never quit.